Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're gonna be nicer to call center staff after watching this video. You'll never get my business again. I mean, good, we didn't want it. Oh boy, howdy. For once I get to tell a satisfying story. Details are changed to protect myself. So, I work for an inbound phone sales for a large auto insurance company. People call, demand a quote, get upset when I have the audacity to ask them to buy the policy, rinse and repeat. This guy. This jabroni though. I'm just gonna lay out some background to give y'all a feel for the kind of guy he was. So he came on the line making a big deal about how he was a former customer from over 10 years ago, and I should be so grateful he was giving us a chance to earn his business back. Despite that, he was also incredibly insistent that he didn't want to buy the policy no matter what I told him, and he fought me tooth and nail in giving any information. I swear, the man said, "Everything is the same as last time," a dozen times. As I'm sure you can all guess, nothing was. New address, new car, new wife, new accidents, etc. He was just every salesperson's dream, basically. Now, my sales system is designed to tell me if their last policy cancelled with any outstanding concerns, owes us money, bad risks, etc. But it's rarely anything serious, especially if it's an old account. So when I got this alert, I pulled the old account just to see what was up, and I found something glorious. This man, this fool, had actually been cancelled for insurance fraud all those years ago. I read through a few pages of notes, but essentially, this guy had claimed damages to his truck he didn't know the source of, took the original claims check, less than $600, and got the damages repaired, wrecked his vehicle in a much more substantial way in the same spot a few days later, and tried to state all of the damages were from the original incident and that the claims adjuster was trying to rip him off and wildly underpay him. He even sued the company. And between the body shop owner who fixed the original damages, photo of the original damages, and this man's story that had more holes than Swiss cheese, he very much lost that trial, and we summarily dropped him. We're lenient with most customers. I have insured a man who's just gotten out of prison for intentionally running over his neighbour and smashing his SUV into said neighbour's house before. But we have a policy that if you commit fraud against us, you can never come back. We won't even quote you, not even through the website, and I had the pleasure of telling this man that. It was great to be able to give this jerk a hard no, when so much of my day is usually bending over backwards to make the ignorant and demanding feel special. Now, the tantrum this man threw was incredible. He called me all sorts of names, accused me of trying to cheat him, and demanded I give him his price quote, and I got to say no at every turn. I got a glare from my supervisor, but even got away with telling him, "Sir, there is no price I could charge you for our policy because we don't want to have you as a customer after a case of insurance fraud, proven in a court of law." Then he broke out the big threat. "If you don't give me a quote right now, you'll never get my business again." And I got to say, "Alright sir, I'm glad we're on the same page now. You have a great rest of your day." I rarely get to hang up on customers, and even more rarely get to end those calls with a smile. This time was different. This time was better. Imagine trying to get back in business with a company that you had previously taken to court and lost. Wow. Sometimes, you really need to break it down into simpler terms. I work for a large credit card company in the risk department. If your account is closed or your limit is reduced, we get to have a conversation about it. I received a code transfer call from our customer service line. Our dear former customer had his account closed for inactivity. We'll call him Richard. A side note, they should not have transferred the call, but I typically just take it anyway, since it's usually a pretty quick conversation. This call was not a fast or pleasant one. "I don't understand why you people will close my account just because I haven't used it in a few months. I've been with you people for years and this is how I'm rewarded for my loyalty?" I understand it's frustrating to have the bank close your account. However, I do notice that you haven't used that card since you first got it in 2017. "So, why does it matter if I use the card?" "Sir, it costs money to maintain your account. It doesn't make sense for the bank to spend money on an account not being used." The conversation became circular and he kept bringing up the same arguments over and over. The call was about 15 minutes, which is about 10 minutes above average for me. We had calls in queue, so I decided to use my end the call statement. "Richard, bank is a business and we're in business to make money. It doesn't make sense for us to set aside money to pay to maintain an account that is not being used. I'm sorry this is the outcome, but your account is closed and nothing will change that." He complained a little longer and ranted about how he will never do business with us again and losing him as a customer was a big mistake. Some people will call in, ask a question, then completely disregard the answer if it's not the one they want. I feel to see how it's a big mistake if he never does business with the bank again, cause he wasn't really doing business with the bank in the first place. It's your fault I crashed the car. I've been reading through the sub and just remembered an incident from when I worked customer service for a car rental company. This might be quite long. Our policy was always, you must inform us if you plan to take the cars overseas. I'm in the UK. Customers often hired cars for travelling to mainland Europe. This is due to the insurance we place and also just so we know where the cars are in case of an issue. As I'm sure is common, the renter is also liable for any toll booths, bridges or toll roads. Obviously, as we can't preempt what roads or routes you'll be taking. So one day I answered the phone and get crazy guy. He rented from one of our London branches the day before. He's had an accident, crashed the car straight into a toll booth. I can't remember exactly what was said, but the general tale is, he rented a high-rate car, think Mercedes E-Class, and had taken his wife and 3 kids on holiday. First of all, he's gone abroad without informing us, so he's not insured. He's then assumed all tolls have been automatically paid, and instead of slowing for the toll booth as any normal person would, he's proceeded to drive straight through the barrier at over 40 miles an hour. Obviously crashed, and all 3 of his kids are injured because they didn't have their seatbelts on. He also didn't have his youngest in a car seat because he believes rental cars have different laws to normal cars. This guy doesn't want to pay for his completely written off vehicle, the damage, the toll, and wants us to compensate him for inconvenience, hospital trips, any fines that come up from the accident and his negligence, and reimburse what he has paid so far in fuels, hotels and other travel expenses. He obviously didn't get any of this, and was past screaming and shouting to our legal team to discuss his liability for the car, the rental period, legal fees, and the costs associated with bringing the car back to the UK and replacing it like for like. Last I heard, the company was suing him, as well as legal proceedings taking place in France for the damage he caused in reckless driving, child endangerment, and some charge for actually harming his children. Guys, make sure you read your terms and conditions and for God's sake be sensible. This guy is a lunatic, and I hope he got his comeuppance. Wow, that guy got all of his children hurt because he decided to be a complete idiot. Did he think the barriers were just gonna magically lift because he was in a rental car? That's absolutely insane to me, and it's scary to think that these people are on the roads. I hope his kids are okay, and I hope they turn out smarter than their dad. Why can't I access my wife's account? When I worked at the call centre for a retirement management company, one of the biggest things we were taught in training is security to account information. We weren't allowed to give any account information to spouses, even if they came through our phone system secure. There were 2 ways around this. 1, have a power of attorney on file. 2, confirm the spouse through verification and ask them if we can share account information and activity with your spouse, friend, family member, investment advisor, etc. One day, this Brad decided to call in and get information about his wife's retirement account. Now, for verification purposes, our phone system asked for the SSN or account number, then date of birth. Well, he had access to that information. The call popped in as verified. I do my intro and ask for a name. This is Brad Smith. I'm the husband of Karen Smith. I need some information on her previous employer's account. Certainly. May I speak to Miss Smith first to verify her? No, she's not here. I'm sorry, sir. I can't share any account information without getting Mrs. Smith's permission. We are married. We have a joint banking account. I should have access to this account too. I'm sorry, sir. Company policy and IRS guidelines do not allow us to share any information without Mrs. Smith's approval. No, they don't. The IRS allows for joint accounts. When it comes to 401k accounts, sir, the IRS only allows one individual name in the account, unless you get a power of attorney. Maybe you can get her on the phone via 3-way and once I verify her, I can speak to you. Look, she's driving right now. Do you know how unsafe it is for her to call you while driving? You're asking me to put my wife's life at risk? I just need the investment information of this account. Well, sir, we open at 8 AM and close at 9 PM. Maybe she can call before she leaves for work or before she gets home from work? No, she leaves her work at 7:30. She's a nurse and works 12-hour shifts. There's no way those hours work for us. Listen, you guys have an email. I'm just going to email the company and ask for the information. You can't keep me from this information. It's our account. Well, sir, you can try that, but unless you log into the account, the email you send will be from a generic message and we can only share very basic information and nothing account specific. This is unacceptable. Let me speak to your supervisor now. 1 second, sir. I informed the escalation team of the situation, and how does he prepare for it? Okay, I got the account and now let me just minimize this so I don't tell him anything on the account. Alright, send him through. I listened to the call for a few minutes where Brad was trying to put the blame on me for not accessing the account. He even says he wants my wife to call while she's driving so we can access our joint retirement account. What the F is up with all the secrecy? It's our account. Sorry to hear that, sir. Is your wife near so I can verify the account and give you whatever information you want? Brad just loses it. He calls my supervisor in the company all the worst names in the book. Sorry, but not sorry, Brad. This was a big thing whenever I worked in mortgages. We had an automated system that asked you for basic details, and if you came through verified, then we would have full access to your account. If the person talking wasn't named in the account, then the best thing to do was just minimize the screen, open a different page, or just look away from the screen. I usually sat next to a window, so I just enjoy the view. But the amount of spouses who would call up demanding to know account information, or just saying, I'm their wife or husband and all I want to know is the balance, surely you can tell me that. Nope. I remember I once had a mother call up about her son's mortgage, which I thought was really strange, and she said that she handles all her son's finances, but of course, wasn't authorised to speak on the account. When that call was over, I pulled up the mortgage because I was curious how old the son was for his mum to still be dealing with all the important stuff. Yeah, he was in his mid-40s. It was crazy. Okay, so that's all for r/Tales from Call Centers. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord, and Patreon links are in the description, and any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching.